Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.
Hello, this is George Swift from Bigger, Brighter, Bolder, and welcome to the Leveling Up Podcast. The Leveling Up Podcast is here to give you the personal development, the entrepreneurial development, and the business growth that you, the ambitious business owner, desires. I'm here to give you the inspiration, the motivation, but above all else, to challenge your aspirations to take you and your business to the next level. Don't forget, subscribe to this podcast and never miss an episode. And in this episode, I want to round up this week's theme, which has all been about who wins in a recession. And I know talking about recession is a little bit down, a little bit depressing potentially. However, obviously, to ignore the obvious truth, which is we are in a massive global, let alone national recession, would be remiss of me and ignorant of all of us. We must make sure that we roll up our sleeves, we do the right things, we're focused on the right areas, and we want to make sure that we're going to be one of those people that not only survives this recession, but actually comes out on top. And I really do believe it's possible. Right back in episode 190 on Monday, we touched on a lot of content around who wins in a recession. On Wednesday's episode, I went into finer detail around where you invest your money and making sure that it pays you back, and just getting super uber focused on where you invest your money in your business in the upcoming months and potentially years. Today, I want to talk about perspective. If you have found the content this week, the themes this week, a little bit heavy because I'm talking about recession, etc., then just remember, your perspective is your life raft. On Monday, I talked quite a bit about perspective and mindset and attitude and approach. And today, I really want to just share with you one simple analogy, and that is that of the life raft. If you allow external forces, external influences, external news, if you allow other people's opinions, other people's comments, if you allow them to sweep overboard, you will eventually start taking on water and you will potentially sink. If, however, you maintain your own perspective, you maintain your own mindset, you make sure that you are cued into how you're feeling, your attitudes, and making sure that you keep those positive, realistic by all means, but keep them positive, and then make sure that you are operating consistently at the right level in order to give you and your business best possible chance of not just surviving, but as I keep saying, winning through the upcoming challenges that we all face as small businesses. Maintaining your perspective, managing your perspective, owning your own perspective on life, on business, on the recession, on the virus, on the implications of the virus, on the implications of the strategy for combating the virus. If you don't manage your perspective, then somebody else's perspective or viewpoint will naturally flood over the sides of your life raft. If you manage it yourself and you're mindful yourself of how you're seeing the world, how you're seeing the information, how you're processing the data and the information, the news that you're receiving, then you can keep yourself afloat. And if you allow your mindset, if you allow your attitudes, and therefore you allow your emotional state to be dictated to you by external factors or external people or external perspectives or viewpoints, then you really will not be master of your own craft throughout the rest of whatever it is that we're going through right now, and whatever it is we're going to have to go through together in the not so distant future. And maybe, some of this is going to be a little bit protracted, and we may still have quite a way to go yet. It's absolutely imperative that you manage your own perspective, maintain your own perspective, keep yourself afloat. Make sure that when you're taking on the news, when you're listening to other people's perspectives, when you're listening to other people's viewpoints, when you're disseminating data, just be mindful that all the information that is being flooded into your mindset is actually going to start to steer you in a certain direction. It's really important that we manage the information that we expose ourselves to, we manage the perspectives that we expose ourselves to, and that ultimately we remain the boss of ourselves. We don't allow external factors, external viewpoints, external news, we don't allow that to change fundamentally who we are, to change how we think, to change how we feel, and therefore to change what we do, the actions we take, and how we act and react. It's absolutely imperative that you remain in charge of your raft. Otherwise, water will come in, other people's opinions will come in, and potentially sink you. So I want you to imagine right now that you are on a turbulent sea. You're in your life raft, and whilst it's messy out there, whilst it's scary, uncertain, fundamentally, as long as you've got this dinghy around you, this inflatable around you, as long as you've got this to hold on to, you're going to be okay. You're going to stay afloat. You're going to stay above the water. And when you imagine that all the news that's bombarding you through mainstream media, the newspapers, TV, etc., but also through social media channels, all that news that's bombarding you with the doom and the gloom and the misery. 1 minute it's about the virus. The next minute it's about the economy. The next minute it's about the social disruptions. The next minute it's about how you can't see your family. Next minute is how you can't go to the pub. Next minute is about how your kids are going to have to be locked in at university. The next minute is about how all your kids are going to be sent home from university. And all this information comes pouring in like water, like waves over the sides of your life raft. And the water starts pouring in. And unless you start to manage that water, unless you start to block that water from coming in, unless you start to bail that water out, eventually you will take on so much water that it doesn't matter how naturally optimistic you are, no matter how naturally buoyant you are, you will start to sink. And once you start to sink, more water will just pile in, and then you will get pulled to the bottom. Once you're at the bottom, it is almost impossible to fight your way back up. Once you're down there, you can only see the misery. You can only see the gloom and the doom. You can only see the world through a perspective of someone that has been drowned, someone that has been sunk to the bottom. You can only see the negativity in the world. You can only feel what that negativity enables you to feel. And from there, it's really hard. It's like fighting from your back. So rather than waiting until you've taken on so much of this water, when you start to sink and then you really sink to the bottom, you actually want to protect yourself right now whilst you are still buoyant, while you're still on top of the ocean. The water's coming in, it's threatening to bombard you. There's piles of it coming in, tons and tons of this information coming in. All of it potentially building up to a point where you take on so much that you no longer can fight it off, and then you start to sink. So regardless of where you're at right now, whether you feel positive, uplifted, optimistic, regardless of maybe you're starting to feel negative, you've taken it all on board. We're coming into autumn. There's a lot of negativity in the news right now. There's a lot of negativity in social media right now about the economy, the virus, life, the universe, everything. And even you're starting to feel like it's weighing you down, it's starting to pour over the side so fast that you can't keep your craft afloat, then switch it off. Just switch it off. Because I tell you now, 99% of everything that you're listening to, you really don't need to know about. Yes, you need to be informed in this world. You need to know what you need to know in order to navigate the world that you live in. Your life, where you live, your business, in the economy that you're in. But most of the information that's coming in is irrelevant to you. However, it piles in on the unconscious and it starts to weigh you down. Eventually, it can sink you. So manage your own perspective. See the world through your own eyes. Don't allow other people to dictate to you your truth. I've done so many episodes over the past couple of months around these topics because it's so important as business owners that we manage our own psychology, we manage our own mindsets, our own attitudes, our own emotional states so that we can keep ourselves in tip-top condition so that we're continually out there fighting for what we want, fighting for our businesses, our lifestyles, our futures, and not just ours, but our families, our friends, our societies, but also our colleagues in our business, our staff, and of course, our clients. I'm not saying you should turn the TV off or stop reading the newspaper or shut down your social media channels. I'm just saying manage them. Protect yourself from taking on too much of other people's perspectives and views. See the world through your own eyes. If you're not yet being touched by the recession, then in your world, the recession is as good as irrelevant. You might not want to be ignorant to what's going on for other people, But if your business is not being affected by the recession so far, then the recession is merely a concept for you. You might want to be mindful of what other people are going through, because if it starts to affect you, you want to have your eyes wide open. But you don't need to take it on board. You don't need to take that perspective on board and allow it to become your truth. Equally, of course, even if you are struggling right now, it doesn't mean that's because there's this huge recession going on and it's the end of everybody and there's no hope for it. Manage your own perspective. Manage what you consume. Manage what you expose yourself to, who you expose yourself to, and make sure you take charge of your perspective. If you do, your perspective will protect you. Keep yourself afloat. Keep your mindset in the right place. Keep your attitudes in the right place. Keep your emotional states high. Keep yourself in the game. Play the long game. You will get through this. I want you not to just get through this, but the whole theme of this week has been about winning through this. It may require a bit of effort. You may need a fight. You may have some of the toughest battles of all with yourself. But ultimately, as long as you stay in that life raft, as long as you manage that perspective for yourself and you disallow other people, other agendas, other individuals, other institutions to dictate to you how you should feel, what you should think, and how you should see the world, you will keep yourself afloat. And while you're afloat, you're still in the game, you're still swinging, you're still punching, and you can still win. That wraps it up for this week. I hope you've had a good week this week. Go into the weekend, manage your perspective, look at your mindset, look at your attitude, look at what you're doing, consume and compute the themes, the topics and the content and the tactics we've been talking about all week this week. Come out next week all guns blazing. If you're finding yourself surrounded by negativity, if you're finding yourself surrounded by the wrong kind of information and you want to talk to us about potentially becoming part of Bigger, Brighter, Bolder and becoming part of a community that is standing strong together, that's fighting for each other, supporting each other, being creative on behalf of each other, a team of people that are on your side that are aligned with what it is that you're trying to do, which is to not just maintain your life, but also to continue to grow your business and to continue to improve your life, then drop us a line, check us out. We'd love to introduce you to our 80 plus members. If you're under 100K and you want to hit that 100K turnover, we've got a mastermind for you. If you're already doing 100, 200, 300, 400, 500K and you want to continue that path of growth in your business, again, we've got the perfect environment for you. If you want to check us out, you can find us at biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk. You can contact my partner in life and in business, Tracy Miller. She'd love to hear from you and discuss your options with us. And don't forget also, if you have yet to hit 100K, the Six Figure Fast Track is still waiting for you. A masterclass webinar completely free of charge. How to take your business to 100K or more next 12 months or less. You'll find the links to all of that in the descriptions of this episode. Have an awesome weekend. I will see you on Monday. We'll do it all over again then. Until then, as always, be successful.
Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.